Is this the minivan of e-bikes? This is the Lectric Xpedition. Well, check it out next on the channel. Alright, e-bikers, so here's my first cargo e-bike I've had on the channel before, and the new Lectric Xpedition from Lectric e-bikes based out in Phoenix here. They sent me this as a review and test model, so thanks to them for doing that. And pleasantly surprised by this package here. A lot of first on this e-bike for the Lectric brand. So it's the first e-bike with a rigid, first new e-bike with a rigid fork up front. No more suspension on this one. They wanted to save weight, I guess. It's the first e-bike to have this new adjustable stem on, which I'll show you later. It's the first e-bike they have with quick release pedals that pop off. And it's the first e-bike they have with a 750 watt motor back here in the rear hub. That's right. We've been kind of wishing for a 750 watt from Lectric, and they finally gave it to us in the form of this electric cargo e-bike here. The back rack is massive. This thing can carry 2 kids or a lot of groceries. I'll do a separate accessories video at some point after this, once I get all the accessories sent to me. I got a lock on it already, as you can probably see in a little bag here for my keys. You have 2 sets of keys. This is a dual battery e-bike, right? Got 2 batteries, 2 14s, 14 amp hours each, right behind the seat post there, tucked away. And this thing is supposed to be a really long range e-bike. We'll do a range test as well at some point during the spring here, once things start to warm up. But let's go over some of the specs and get you a first look at this new e-bike from Lectric. Okay, so the color of this e-bike is white. It's called fog gray though. It's got a nice subtle Lectric branding there in a darker gray. It's got a little logo down here. It's got the Lectric name all over it, just in small places, so it's very minimalistic as far as the design goes. But it's a really nice looking e-bike overall. One of my friends commented on the rear back here. There's a lot of piping going on, so it's definitely like a scaffolding type of situation if you look at it. But plenty of areas there to hook a bungee cord on or something like that. We'll put some accessories on there eventually. But this bike costs $16.99 with the dual batteries, only $13.99 with a single battery. So they claim a range over 100 miles. We'll put that to the test in a later video. But here's your 2 batteries back here. And this is one of the most affordable cargo e-bikes on the market today. And the folks at Lectric are known for their affordability, and this is something that it's a really good value for that kind of price with the dual batteries and the cargo capability you can do on this e-bike. Let's talk about payload back here. So max payload of overall for everything is 450 pounds. The max rider weight is 330 pounds, and the rear rack can hold up to 300 pounds back here on that rack. And there's also a space for a front rack that can hold 35 pounds if you choose to add a rack up front. Free shipping with this e-bike, and it comes fully assembled. All you got to do is basically inflate the tires a bit, put the pedals on, and just raise that little adjustable stem there, and you're good to go. So you can ride it as soon as you get it, basically. All right, let's go from the specs here. So it's a longer e-bike. It's about 72 inches long. And in its upright position, those handlebars are about 46 inches high. When they're folded down, it's about 32 inches tall. So you can basically slot this into a minivan and a back of an SUV for traveling purposes, and just slide it right in. As long as you can fit that height of 32 inches, you'll be good to go in terms of just traveling with this thing. It's not too heavy, 75 pounds with both batteries attached to it. It's only 68 with 1 battery. Take them both out and you're saving 14 pounds. Each battery is about 7 pounds each. And so you're looking at about 60-pound e-bike without the batteries on it. So it's pretty good for traveling purposes. Another first for Lectric are these street tires. It's their first e-bike with street tires. You can see the tread there. Nice street tread. 20 by 3 inch, branded with Lectric name there. Sitting on 180 millimeter rotors with hydraulic disc brakes, of course, and a pretty good package from a power standpoint. It comes as a class 2. You can unlock it, of course, which I did, to go up to 28 miles an hour with pedaling. Has a 24 amp controller that's tucked away underneath the e-bike right here. So a lot of good power in that controller. And we'll put that to the test. We have a dual leg kickstand here. Most current e-bikes come with a dual leg kickstand, so the bike stands upright. And it actually you can actually level the bike a bit off the ground, and move the wheels if you need to. Right, so that's a nice little touch there. If you're adjusting something on either wheel, you can actually tip it over and spin the wheel in place. Here's a look at those Zoom hydraulic brakes on the e-bike with 180 millimeter rotors. This particular rotor actually is a little bit bent. It's actually scraping the brake pad in here, so I get a little bit of noise, road noise coming off of it when I am riding. The solution basically is to try and bend the rotor back in spots using your hand or maybe a wrench to do that. But haven't had much luck getting it to stop scraping at this point. It's kind of hard to see, but that rotor is touching the brake pad on one side back there. So that's really the only issue out of the box that I've had so far with this e-bike. The cable management on this Xpedition, not as good as it used to be on the XPs. So you can see here, I've actually taken a zip tie and kind of wrangled this cable back in place. It was basically sticking out very far out here. It just looked really awkward that way. And I've seen some other review bikes from the other YouTubers, and it sticks out to the right like that, or the left, I guess, if you're looking at this from the seating standpoint. And it just looked really awkward, so I twisted it back into this placement, if you will. And they told me at Lectric that it somehow got twisted at the factory, I guess. That's why it was so long. It just seems like it's a little bit too long as well. They just could have took out a good, 4 or 5 inches of slack there to make that more of a tighter integration with the e-bike itself. But, minor complaint. You can see up here, there's a couple of wires that are just, hanging out there. Not quite what I'm used to from Lectric, but again, a minor complaint, and shouldn't stop you at all from, picking up a bike like this. So this bike should fit almost anybody. The rider height suggested is 4'11" to 6'5". We have a very nice long Seatpost on it. I'll show you that in a second. Standover height is 18.75 inches from the ground up, right there. So 18 inches. Seat to handlebar reach is 17 to 24 inches, so that reach there. And the rear rack is 31 inches long by 6.8 inches wide. From here to here, it's about 21 inches, so that's really the usable space of the rack. I guess you could cover the battery too if you need to, but I'm gonna look at some cargo options back here in terms of the baskets that they have. I think the biggest one they have is 18 inches long, so that wouldn't be as big as this. I'd love to see them come out with just a full cargo basket that fits this entire rack. It comes out a little bit. It would be even cool, like if they made like a rubber kind of basket here, almost like a little mini dump truck, and that you could basically put anything in as an accessory. That would be interesting to see. Almost like a little trucklet back there, trucklet bed. But we'll play around more of the accessories as they come into my possession. All right, let's talk about this power back here. This 750 watt rear hub motor with 1,310 watts of peak power. Lectric said this is their best hill climb bike ever. We're going to put that to the test. I've seen some videos already. The guy from Ebike Products went up a really steep hill, like this steep, with like a 33% grade, and this thing tackled it with no problem at all. So I'll do some hill hunting videos separately after this. But Lectric's done something different with this e-bike, which is something called Power, PWR, and it has a cadence sensor up here. However, instead of the cadence sensor limiting you to the PS levels to a speed setting, for instance, on the Lectric XP, like PS1 is like, I don't know, like 10 miles an hour, right? PS2 is like 12 or 13. PS3 is 15 or 16, right? This is different on the Lectric Xpedition. What you're going to have here is a wattage-based power delivery depending on the PS levels. And that should make the bike more efficient when you're traveling, when you're riding it overall. Lectric claims they got, in one test, 150 miles out of this thing on flat conditions. That's incredible. And that could be due to the way they've tuned this thing. We'll certainly put our own e-bike to the test here as far as a range test goes. I live in a very hilly place, so we're going to do some real world riding here and range tests. And I expect this thing to get, you know, somewhere between 75 miles in real world conditions here in Connecticut. If you're on a flat condition, you're going to get like 20-30% better mileage just because you're on flat conditions. So keep that in mind. Okay, here's a look at your cockpit. We have the rubber grips that come on the Lectric 3.0 here. These are pretty solid. They don't move on like the XP 3.0. Here's your Zoom hydraulic brakes, your typical control pad. Simple but effective. I do like this pad overall. Let me turn the bike on for you. There we go. It's your standard electric display here that you're all used to from the other bikes. No difference there. And on the right side, we have a half twist throttle, your grips as well, and the same Shimano 7-speed system up here on the cockpit. So there you go. So here is your new stem here. It's very adjustable. You don't need to change any bolts or screw any bolts on this thing. I like this, really like this handlebar system they got. So you basically just lift this up, and you push that up, and you lift, and you can rotate the handlebars, and you can change the angle of the stem in terms of how it's facing, right? So they said not to do it all the way up because that's not safe. You want to do it at an angle. So I leave mine about here, and you can rotate the handlebars into your desired angle for your riding position here. So once you do that, just click it back in place and you're done. That's easy, and I love this new stem. Very comfortable, very easy to use, and e-bike friendly, as I call it. And this seat post here is a telescoping seat post. So there's actually 2 clamps, all right? And on this top one, when you lift it, you have a nice telescoping seat post here. This thing goes really high. I don't know why I'd want to make it this high, but it is, if you're an extra tall rider, this thing is great to have. So, nice job, Lectric. One of the things about this e-bike already that you'll notice when you get on it is you sit very far forward. You're kind of like cab forward here. So, my head is almost, it's almost right over the stem here. It's a little bit noisy. Probably hear that motor back there. It's definitely whining. And you might hear that little clicking sound from the front wheel. That's the brake rotor. The bike's pretty agile though for being, 6 feet long, 72 inches long. It's pretty agile. I think it's, thanks to these tires and just the geometry here of the overall bike. It's long but skinny. All right, let's test out our PS levels here and see what this feels like. Let's drop it down to PS1. And I can barely feel it. It's 8 miles an hour. The motor is just this low whirring sound. It's working, but it's this is good if you want to get some exercise really in this PS1 setting. PS2. There's a little bump up. And we're doing 11.5, almost 12 miles an hour, 12.5. PS3. We're doing almost 16. PS4. Starting to pedal a little harder here. We're at 21 already. PS5. Take this corner here, no one's coming. And 24, 25. 26, 27, 28. Oh, 29 too. That's the first time I've hit 28 on an electric e-bike since the 1.0. And I get to it on the 3.0 or the 2. Alright, here's my hill test. Put it in PS5. We'll do, this hill has kind of two parts to it. A little moderate hill here, then it gets steeper towards the top. We'll start with throttle only, and then we'll start pedaling once we flatten out a bit and head up that second part of the hills here. So good pickup off the line. Already at 12 climbing, 14, 13, back under 13 at 12.8. Climbing again, 14 miles an hour. Here goes 15, 16, 15.5. Kind of hold steady there. There's 16 again. So picking up speed again as we flatten out here. 17, 18. And here comes the steeper part of the hill. I'm going to start pedaling here. So this better not drop below 10 miles an hour. That's my standard for 750 watts. I'm in 5th gear, not even in lower gear. Doing 15, 14, 14. Wow, this thing is wow, this is the best hill climber I have ever gotten. Wow, I never went below like 13 and a half. That was incredible. 13 and a half miles an hour up a steep hill. That was crazy. Wow. I'm really impressed by that. You know, the most I've ever gotten on a 750 watt, and even my Kepler, I think, was only about 11 and a half. So this thing is a really good hill climber, that's for sure. Just coasting. We'll check the brakes at the end and see what kind of top speed we can hit. Just coasting this thing. Got these street tires, very little rolling resistance. Here we go. $24, 27, 29. Very stable, not too fast. 30, there's 30. Oh, about there. All right, hit those brakes. Nice controlled stop there. Excellent. All right, let's go park this thing and wrap it up. There it is, guys, your Lectric Xpedition in fog gray. Only one color, as I mentioned, $16.99. Definitely use my affiliate link in the description of the video. Help support the channel. That's why I do these videos. It helps out so I can spend more time reviewing, getting, testing, and riding e-bikes. So appreciate your support out there. But good e-bike, very good value for the money. $16.99. You're gonna be hard pressed to find another e-bike that can do what this e-bike can do at that price and go as far with those 2 batteries. And we'll be doing a lot more videos. We'll do hill tests, more hill tests, accessories, video, range tests, and maybe some DoorDash stuff this summer. So once I get the panniers that go in the back, they have a set of 2 panniers on each side for 4 grocery bags, plus a cargo rack on top. I'll be able to carry a lot of stuff, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Anyway, you know, Only complaints again are the brake rotor, which should be fixable. Cable management's a little iffy. It's a little noisy, although, you know, if you're on a bike trail, you do want people to hear that you're coming up behind them, especially those walkers out there. A lot of times they get earbuds in, they can't hear you. So that's a plus, I guess, if you can think of it that way. And carries 2 kids, carries a bunch of cargo, whatever you want. So I'd say, yeah, it's a minivan of e-bikes, and we're certainly going to keep tracking this thing and do some more videos with it and put that to the test as well. So anyway, thanks for watching Crisscross. Catch you next time. Peace out.